Got it? Let me know. I'm ready. All right. You can talk about the pain and the struggle. You can discuss hard times or life in a nutshell. But until you've seen a jail cell or hungry because mama took the welfare and bail, you don't know how it is.
Luis Cameron Rodriguez, he is, oh, he's an angel. I'm gonna cry, he's an angel.
Dad fighting addiction while providing for 4 kids, the definition of a true man. Never let the world get in the way of him being a dad, so tell me where have you been? I'll tell you right now, that you call into that bridge and huddle up against the wall, take off them busted ass shoes, feet rotten and rub raw. If you don't know what I've been through or where I've been, knowing that tomorrow I'll be in the same place again, drying my tears in the wind, you say you for my pain, but you don't even know what pain is.
And we called him the poet.
Me?
Yeah.
Poet.
You're the poet.
I take out trash. I take out the trash and I help with work and whatnot, and I try to keep people happy and shit, but it's really hard sometimes.
And he came into our camp down in Kerr Park. He just kind of showed up one day and we found him sleeping on the ground, and then he never left.
It's like nobody cares. They all play pretend as if they were unaware, though at times some stop and stare, they turn their heads quickly when you notice them near. Do you know how that feels? Completely humbled and ashamed, swallowing your pride like a pill. All this emotion has you choking, losing track of the days. You completely lose focus, don't even know who you are anymore. I regret so many choices, so much stress, my soul is worn to the point of no repair. It's so hard to find help out in the world when the world doesn't care.
So we didn't really sure how to take him. We had a lot of homeless people coming in at that time, so we would really be cautious. But with Luis, it was more like we just, by the end of the day, you just fell in love with him. I just fell in love with him.
Our streets, our streets, our streets, our streets. We are the 99%. We are the 99%. We
He just got it. He was on the djembe drum and he was leading chants and cheers, and that was Saturday. It was so cool because he got up early with me and cleaned because we knew there was going to be a lot of people there, and he helped me gather signs and everything.
Support the movement, man.
What does it mean to you?
The movement means the future to me.
the people united.
But I try to be one of the pulses in the heartbeat. That's what I try to do. You can't skip a beat. You need to have a beat in the heart. You gotta keep it going, or you fucking have failure. Everybody's beat.
So are you. 99%. So are you. 99%. So are you.
Like you would in a family. Or, he had a favorite place to sit. He had a favorite fork he would dig out of the box. Just like you would in the family, And, but he always came back. He was always there, and he would tell people, this is my family. And, and people, strangers on the street, he would grab me and tell them, this is my mom, and he'd hug me. So I think very much he found a family there. I really think that's what God did for him there.
And that mean bitch life, man, she's hella quick. Run by so fast, you can barely remember some of it. Nostalgia is painful at times. Reminiscing that summer bliss while the winter's got a bit colder. I'm going older and it makes me sick. Now I'm angry and just talking shit, but that's mostly what you get, taking advice from a pessimist. The drowning out if I'm too offensive, I still speak my mind, even from my and as the wind blows a quiet kiss, while the night sky turns up a taste in the abyss, I promise this, it can't get worse. In person, I've seen it. That's why I write these motherfucking words so you can read them.
If we're lying to you, I wouldn't
that you're
stand
breathing.
here.
A hug from Luis was almost like one of those, with the heart pumps. And to know those things about him and how his life was and how, the hurt that him and his family, had gone through when he was a little boy, things like that. And then just to see the love and the kindness that he had and the hope. That's the big thing.
Fucked in my luck though. Been trying to figure out what the fuck has been up though. My mind's keeping me from moving forward in this world. My heart keeps me bound to the love of this one girl. My eyes are so tired. I'm staring at the screen, trying to figure out what the fuck it all means. Deciphering my dreams and unveiling all these schemes. And if I were to die in my sleep, what I dream, they telling me exactly what I already know. Thoughts like wild birds flying out the open window. Careless emotions causing erosion and corrosion. Just commotion, emotion, adrenaline flowing like locomotion. Thought process impaired, like a paralyzed off in the ocean. Drowning with no lifeline. How much longer must I keep going? Hope it's not far to shore. My arms are getting sore. Fighting to stay afloat. This living is a chore. Repetitive repetition has me guessing what day is it. Where did my week go? Matter of fact, what year is it? All these questions bring up more questions from within. All these deeds of evil mysteries bring a recognition of sin. Me and my dad had disagreements around, I was 16, turning 17, and I couldn't get a job, I didn't have identification and whatnot, and he said get a job or get out, so I had basically moved out. So since then I've been traveling on the road on foot, doing poetry from state to state, from Kansas City to Iowa, to Nebraska to Kansas to Oklahoma, Texas, back up. On my way to California, but I got to do a pit stop in Kansas City. Now I'm in progress of bring my brothers down here so we can be a family again.
Some of the boys came running downstairs and kind of caught me as Jay was walking away to tell me that Lewis was in a tent up there and they thought he was dead. And I opened up the tent that they saw him in and I just knew. I went in and I just held him. I think I thought that if I could just hold him and shout, then he would hear me and wake up. But I really knew better. But I did. I just held him and I kept shouting his name. And then I kind of thought, well, if I shout hard enough, then Jay will come back and, then I'll know what to do because here's, this sweet boy that I just adore. But he was gone. He was just gone. He was there in his suit that he wore the night before. Except for his hat, I have his hat. But he was just still there in his white suit that he had the night before. And just sleeping. He just went to sleep and never came back.
I walked up here one day, probably like everyone did, and met Lewis with a hug. And probably like everyone, the first time you got the hug from Lewis, it was just a little bit awkward. He didn't, and I come from a family that hugs, that's what we do. But this guy who I'd never seen before, didn't know who I was, didn't know that I've spent a lot of hours here, whether I just walked in off the street. Bounded up, I don't know what the other adjective to describe that, bounded up, wrapped his arms around me, smiled, didn't care who I was. And it was a little bit awkward. By the third day, when I got out of my car, the first thing I looked for, if I was here for more than 10 seconds and I didn't get my hug, I was looking for him. We are letting people like Lewis, who is a beautiful soul, who could have gone on to be a Nobel Prize writer, who could have gone on to do something awesome with his life, we're letting him slip away. Why? Lewis was my friend.
This was the last thing he wrote. This is Occupy by Lewis R. And it says, organize this nation, show life some appreciation, cultivate a democratic nation, and maybe we'll be complacent. Corporations purchase our voices. Shouldn't we make our own choices? Unite the 99% of Americans at a disadvantage. Populate the seeds of occupation. Freedom is our living precipitation. Yearning for our messages spoken, to be acknowledged by the people, be awoken.